Whether the team is giving us the highest of highs or the bluest of blues, we'll cover it all here on Commanders Nightly News. I, of course, am your host, Louie T. Thank you for joining me. Let's get to tonight's lead story. So, one of the benefits to playing on a Thursday or not playing at all is the freedom you get to watch other games around the league. For some people, that's the freedom to go do whatever they want over the weekend, not worry about football. Their favorite team isn't playing. I get that as well. For me and people like me that are football junkies, you're going to watch. You're going to watch a ton of football. And I always use these opportunities to learn more about what the rest of the league is doing and what that means for my favorite team, the Washington Commanders. And a lot of times you're looking for things that the good teams are doing or just teams in general are doing that your team isn't doing, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, right? Early in the season, we've been nitpicking at this team, as we should be. It's early. You want to win. You're 1-1. And we have, high hopes for this team. Aspirations were through the roof going into this season. And for me, they still are for some, maybe not so much. We'll talk about that a little bit later on in today's show. However, I always use these opportunities when we don't play on Sundays to kind of get some big takeaways from the weekend. But I have one really massive takeaway. And I think I've spoken about this already, and I've talked to some of you individually, whether it's DMs, I've posted on social media multiple times about this. My biggest takeaway from the weekend of action without the Commanders is that we need stability at the kicking position. This league has advanced in ways you can't imagine at the place kicking position. If your kicker can't make a 54-yard field goal with ease, you are behind the curve severely, okay? These kickers are kicking the football with the greatest of ease, at a level I've never seen before in my life. I've been watching football my entire life. I remember when it used to be a big deal to kick a 50-yard field goal. I remember when guys used to be celebrated for making a 53-yard field goal. Teams would bypass the opportunity to kick a 54-yard field goal and punt. The game has changed. Teams are settling for 60-yard field goals. The Cowboys, we watched the Cowboys settle for a six. They had a timeout and they had time to get closer into field goal range. And they was like, no, we're good here. 64 is fine for our kicker. Everyone doesn't have a Brandon Aubrey. I'm aware of that. And I'm cool with not having a Brandon Aubrey. But you're trying to tell me we can't have a John Parker Romo? We can't have a serial kicker? The thing that frustrates me is we saw some of these guys in the preseason. We knew we knew John Parker Romo was going to be released. The Patriots drafted a kicker. You don't draft a kicker to cut him and sign a free agent. We knew John Parker Romo was going to be available. And because we had already made our Matt Gay bed, we had to lie in it. Did you see what I just did there? That's pretty nasty work. I'm sick of wearing black right now. I'm sick of it. I'm over it. I can't wait for Wednesday. I'm sick of being in black. I've been in black since last Thursday. I'm over it. It's been a really rough week for me. Really, really brutal. And watching these kickers go out and boot the football through the uprights from these crazy distances, knowing my kicker can't even make a 50-yard field goal, is so frustrating. The margin for error in this league is way too small. We saw it on Thursday night. I don't think we were going to win the game. I really don't. We got dominated on Thursday night. But you know what didn't help our cause? Missing 2 field goals in a game that was never truly out of reach. For as bad as we played, for as much as we felt dominated, if Matt Gay makes his kicks, it's a totally different football game. Again, I don't know what that would have meant for the outcome. I don't know if that would have meant we would have had a better chance of winning. I can tell you this much. It didn't enhance our chances of winning by him missing those field goals. I guarantee you the probability of us winning the game would have gone up. I don't know if it would have gone up significantly. Him missing those kicks definitely didn't help our cause. I'm watching kicker after kicker after kicker after kicker after kicker after kicker. And we're not the only team in the league with kicking problems. It's like us and the Cleveland Browns just can't get right in the kicking situation. But I don't care about the Cleveland Browns. I care about the Washington Commanders. I care about us with Matt Gay. And as of right now, they still haven't brought in any competition. I get the whole wanting to be patient thing. He's 1 of 3 on the season. Didn't kick a single field goal in week 1. Made all of his extra points. He's 1 of 3 because of the game against Green Bay on Thursday night. Are we overreacting? Maybe. But what the 1 of 3 in the regular season doesn't take into consideration is that he was ass in the preseason too. That's the thing that somebody from the outside looking in might be saying, bro, he missed 2 kicks. Relax. No, I can't relax because he missed like 4 kicks in the preseason. I might be over-exaggerating. I don't remember. I lost count. He was missing kicks. I got pissed off, and I was like, hey, maybe we should do something. I wanted to remain patient. You know how I like to remain patient with kickers. My aspirations for this team this year are way too high for me to be patient with a place kicker. When I'm watching everybody else around the league grab a guy and he's knocking home 58-yard field goals like they're nothing. Meanwhile, our guy, we got to pray he can make it from 48. The Falcons had their fair share of kicking woes with young Wei Koo. They benched him. They brought in John Parker Romo, the serial kicker. He went 5 of 5 the other night. Like, unbelievable. And one of them was from like 54. And you're just like, this guy here, man. He hit a 60-yard field goal against us in the preseason. Why can't we find a kicker, man? I'm sick of this. Just like I'm sick of wearing black right now, I'm sick of this kicking shit that we're having a conversation about. It's the biggest thing that I saw over the weekend where I went, yeah, that'd be nice. You know, turnovers would really be beneficial too. Like, that would be great. But I've already wrapped my brain around the idea that we just don't create turnovers. So I'm not checking for them anymore. Here's something we can control, though. Making kicks. It'd be great to not have to rely on the place kicker and to score a bunch of touchdowns. But guess what? You play in the NFL, you're going to have to kick field goals. You're going to need field goals to win games. We're playing better opponents, which means it's going to come down to us, taking advantage of opportunities like making a field goal. And I've talked about how making or missing a field goal can flip a game on its head and flip the momentum in an instant. It happened in the Bears game in week 1 versus the Vikings. If Cairo Santos makes a 50-yard field goal, or 53 or whatever it was, they probably win that game. He misses, the Vikings get great field position, they run the ball, they get into a rhythm, they never look back in that game. Scored 21 unanswered points in the 4th quarter. Why can't we get this right? That's probably not the right question to ask. The right question is, what are we going to do about this with Matt Gay? Because it feels like something needs to be done. Even if you don't move on from him, maybe you need to bring in competition. Again, that competition may not even stand a chance. It's just sending a message to Matt Gay that what you're doing isn't good enough. And we already know he feels like shit. After the game, he blamed himself for the loss. That's cool. Kickers do that all the time. I don't give a shit about you blaming yourself for the loss. Make kicks. That's what I care about. Make kicks. And I'm at the point with AP on this one where, hey, we just got to cut our losses, bro. You know, like bring in competition. If that competition kicks better than him in practice, move on, right? I get it. You spent the most money on a kicker, guaranteed wise, on a 1-year deal in NFL history, and you don't want to move on from that. I get it. But sometimes you got to move on. You got to cut your losses, admit you made a mistake, and just keep it pushing. Maybe it's too early to be so certain on Matt Gay. Maybe we're being harsh on him. That is very plausible. As a fan base, we are very demanding of our kickers because we haven't had a good kicker here in quite some time. Don't ask me the last time we had a really good kicker. Maybe when Joey Sly first got here, that 1 year where he didn't miss a single kick. But he got here like midway through the season, maybe a third of the season was left, and he ended up going like 16 of 16 or something like that. And we thought we had solved our kicking woes, only to find out that Joey was just like the rest of them. Maybe we need to be more patient, but here's what I do know. Kicking is important in this league. Points are important in this league. And you're not always going to score a touchdown, and you're not always going to get into chip shot field goal range. Sometimes your drive is going to stall out at the 37-yard line. Sometimes your drive is going to stall out at the 36-yard line. You need a kicker that can make a 54, a 55-yard field goal. In today's NFL, that feels mandatory. And right now, we don't have a kicker with the confidence. He's got the leg. We don't have a kicker with the confidence nor the accuracy right now to make a kick over 48 yards. Over 48 yards. We can't live like this and expect to win. Watch the Monday night game last night. Both kickers. The Raiders kicker booming it from 58. We know what Harrison Butker can do. Like watching all of these different kickers around the league and knowing the potential that they have, knowing how they can make kicks and how that can help their team. And then looking at our situation and seeing how it's hurting our team. Something has to be done. Either he's got to start making some kicks or we got to get some competition in here. But we can't keep going through this. This feels like a small piece of the puzzle that we can fix. And again, I know there aren't a million kickers out there walking the streets that, you know, are any good. I know he's out here doing this for an opportunity, and he wasn't very good with the Indianapolis Colts. That's why he's out of work right now. But Rodrigo Blankenship, is it going to hurt you to bring him in for a workout? Just to see what he can do? I'm always weary of kickers who have to wear like full-on Kareem Abdul-Jabbar goggles. Like that's never a good look. But it can't be any worse than Matt Gay right now. At least bring somebody in here. Show us that you're at least trying to rectify the situation. Don't just bury your head in the sand and expect it to get better. We'll see what they do. We'll see what Matt Gay does. My goal isn't to be kicking a whole bunch of damn field goals, but when we do send you out there, you got one job to do. Just do that. Just make the kick. Kickers now have 2 NFL jobs. 2. That's it. Kickoffs, kicking it into the landing zone, make your field goals. It's not a tough ask. We're going to take a quick break, get a word from one of our sponsors, come back on the other side. Then we got to talk. I got a question for you guys. See where your head's at. Let's get a word from one of our sponsors, Sleeper. See you on the other side. Sleeper. Sleeper is the best way to experience and connect over sports together. It's a one-stop shop for all of your sports needs. You can celebrate and chat in the games in real time with other users, get the fastest scores, blazing fast news and alerts right at your fingertips. Play in fantasy leagues and win real money on picks contests. So enjoy sports the way they were meant to, together. Download the #1 sports app today. Predict the hottest football stats like passing yards, receiving yards, touchdowns, interceptions, and much more to cash in on your daily fantasy football skills. Use promo code LTN and Sleeper will match your first deposit up to $100. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states. Check out Sleeper today. Sleeper. So Tuesday usually feels like the day that they would do something, if they were going to do something with the kicking situation. That's usually the tryout day. Being that they had so much time off, it feels like if they were going to do something from a tryout standpoint, they would have done it already. So it doesn't feel like anything's getting done this week. That's just my 2 cents on it. I hope I'm wrong. I hope they bring in a kicker. It doesn't feel like it. They've made all the roster moves already, right? Eckler and Wise to IR. They moved up. Jalen Holmes and Chris Moore from the practice squad onto the active roster, and they signed Chase Edmonds. If they were going to do something kicking wise, it would have been with that conglomerate of moves, right? So feels like it's another week where they kind of sit on their hands with the kicking situation and just hope it gets better. That's all we can do, I guess, at this point. I just don't have any confidence in it getting better right now. I had a ton of confidence going into the season, like, he'll fix it. He'll be okay. That confidence it's dwindling, right? It's not gone, it's dwindling rapidly, I will say. In other news, I wanted to kind of check the pulse of where the mob is right now as it pertains to this team. I saw a lot of people reverting back to old ways here recently with their thought process. All it took was one game and one potential injury. And before we even knew about the potential injury, and we don't know the severity of it, a lot of people were already crashing out. After a game, the emotions run high, especially when your team doesn't play well. I get that. I've been doing this for a very long time. I just expected more people to be like, hey, it's one game, we'll be fine. That wasn't a great showing, but we know we can play better than that. That's not what we got. Got a lot of people jumping off the cliff. Oh my God, we suck again. This team isn't good. Yada, yada, yada. Okay. So I took to people outside of the incubator, so to speak, our ecosystem. Because it can be an echo chamber sometimes with us as fans. We create this ecosystem. We say shit. It reverberates off the walls. Other people keep saying it because they keep hearing it. And next thing you know, you're hearing a lot of the same shit. You start to believe it. Sometimes you got to go outside the ecosystem to see how others perceive you, right? Before the season started, I told you guys that we were a top 7 team basically on everyone's power rankings. I went back and checked to see where we were, and most publications still have us as a top 10 team. Now we're teetering, right? You're at 7, you're at 8, you're at 9, you're at 10. I saw us at 13 on one publication, which is fine, right? But most people say, oh, okay, they lost. Yeah, and Jaden got banged up a little bit. They're still fine right now. It's early. I want to ask you, confidence index. Going into week 3 versus the Raiders, you had a chance to watch them last night. If you didn't, they stuck it up. They sucked. Geno Smith threw 3 interceptions. They could barely move the football. They didn't score a touchdown. They looked like the Giants when we played them. That's what they looked like. That was the equivalent, except the Giants didn't turn it over 4 times, which the Raiders did last night. Or 3 times. I don't think they turned it over 4. Or did Geno fumble too? I don't think he fumbled and they recovered. Maybe he did. So I ask you, where's your confidence level right now with this team heading into week 3? We're 1-1. I think the Giants win looks a lot better after seeing what they were able to do against the Cowboys. Not that I felt bad about the Giants win. When you look at that win, initially you're like, okay, they stink. They're one of the worst teams in football. So it doesn't really make you feel warm and fuzzy that you beat them. Now, after seeing them have that offensive outburst on the road against a Dallas team that took the Eagles to the wire in week 1, you're like, hey, wait a minute. Maybe that was more of a quality victory. And again, quality, I'm using that phrase loosely. The Giants still are going to be a bad team, I believe, this season. But it feels different than it did a week ago. That Giants win does, I can tell you that much. The Packer loss still stings and it still looked bad. But the Packers are a really good team, considering that you watch what Detroit just did to Chicago and you saw what Green Bay did to them and you're like, huh, maybe Green Bay really is like that. Because if Detroit was ass, then you go, I don't know. No, Detroit's still Detroit, as of right now at least. I'm going to show you a graphic. Before you answer the question, where you see this team at, where's your confidence level at? I'm going to show you a graphic, and I want you to ask yourself 2 questions when it comes to every team on this graphic. This is kind of how I gauge things, okay? So, these are the remaining unbeatens in the league after 2 weeks that we're about to look at. All right, there are 10 teams that have no blemish on their record, nothing in the right-hand column. Okay? Buffalo Bills, Cincinnati Bengals, San Francisco 49ers, Los Angeles Chargers, Philadelphia Eagles, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Indianapolis Colts, Arizona Cardinals, Green Bay Packers, Los Angeles Rams. 4 teams in the AFC, 6 teams in the NFC have perfect records, 2-0. All right. You look at each of these teams and you look at the teams that they've beaten. Buffalo, Baltimore, and the Jets. Cincinnati, Cleveland, and Jacksonville. San Francisco. They beat Seattle and they beat New Orleans. The Chargers, they beat Kansas City and they beat the Raiders. Eagles, they beat the Cowboys and they beat the Chiefs. The Bucks, they beat the Falcons and they beat the Texans. Colts, they beat the Dolphins and they beat the Broncos. Cardinals, they beat the Panthers and they beat the who they beat in week 1? Saints, Panthers, right? Packers, they beat the Lions, they beat the Commanders. And the Rams, they beat the Texans, and they beat the Titans, okay? So 2 questions I feel like you should be asking yourself right now when it comes to these 10 teams. 1, are we more talented than them? Are we a better team? Okay, rather. Are we a better team than them? That's the first question you should ask yourself. Are we a better team? Do you look at that team and say, I feel like we're better than them? 2, because the answer could be no, we're not a better team. 2, can we beat them? Can we beat them? That's it. Those are the 2 questions I ask myself. Right? Buffalo. Are we better than them? No. Could we beat them right now? No. Cincinnati. Are we better than them? Yes. I believe we are. Could we beat them? Yes, I do believe so. Especially with Joe Burrow being out for 3 months. But that's nor here nor there. San Francisco. Are we better than them? Yes, I do believe we're better than San Francisco 49ers. Could we beat them if we played them? Yes, I do believe so. I do believe so. Los Angeles Chargers. Are we better than them? No, we are not better than the Los Angeles Chargers. We are not. Can we beat them? Yes, I do believe we can. We play them in 3 weeks. We'll find out now, won't we? Philadelphia Eagles, are we better than them? No, we are not. But that's not telling you anything that you didn't already know. Can we beat them? Yes, we can. You've watched them just like I've watched them. They may figure out their offense by the time we get to them. It sucks because I would have preferred to have gotten a chance at them now while they're trying to figure out their offense, because their offense stinks right now. Their offense is trash. Their defense is playing really well, and it's what's giving them a chance. And their kickers making, 60-yard field goals and 58-yard field goals. Yeah, that's happening too. Tampa Bay. Are we better than them? No, we are not. Can we beat them? Yes, we can. Indianapolis. Are we better than them? Yes. They're actually really good, though. Can we beat them? Absolutely, we can. But I don't know if there's a quarterback in the league that strikes fear in my heart more than Indiana Jones. So I don't even want any parts of Indianapolis, to be honest with you. Arizona. Are we better than them? Yes, we're better than the Arizona Cardinals. Can we beat them? Absolutely, we can. Green Bay. I think this is a rhetorical question after what they did to us on Thursday Night Football. But I'll ask it anyway. Are we a better team than them? No. Can we beat them? Absolutely not. We've proven that already. Maybe we get a chance at them down the road in the postseason. Might be singing a different tune. But as of right now, hell no. And the Los Angeles Rams. Are we a better team than them? No, we are not. Can we beat them? Yes, we can. So I just gave you the 10 teams in the league that are undefeated. And of the 10 teams, I think only 3 of them, 2 of them, you say probably wouldn't beat them in a game head to head. And maybe 4 or 5 of them we beat underdogs. We beat underdogs against Buffalo. We beat underdogs against the Chargers on the road. Underdogs against Philadelphia. Underdogs against Tampa Bay if we were on the road. Maybe even underdogs. Like, I feel like if you're at home, let's just go with, if we were at home, would we be an underdog in the game? We'd be an underdog against Buffalo at home. We'd be an underdog against Philadelphia at home. We'd be an underdog against Green Bay at home. And I don't think we'd be an underdog in any other game at home. Maybe Tampa, maybe the Rams. I doubt it, though. I doubt it. I think we'd be slight favorites in both of those games. Of course, with the healthy Jaden Daniels, I'm assuming. So I said all of that to say this. And the reason why I bring all of this up is there's no reason to panic. It's early. A lot of teams are figuring shit out, as are we. A lot of moving parts. This is not the same team from last year. You got to stop talking about, we got to stop. I'm guilty just as much as you are. We got to stop talking about last year. Last year is gone. It's not coming back. I told you after last season, there will never be another season like that because our expectations were low. The team exceeded them. It was young, fresh, and new. Everything was great. And it just felt like all the pieces were falling into place. That's not where our head is anymore. Now there are real expectations. And when expectations aren't met, people freak out. And that's where we are right now. But I'm here to tell you, we're still a good football team. And when you look around the league, and I'm glad that I got a chance to watch so much football this weekend, because we're not that different from a lot of teams in the league. The big difference is those teams didn't play a team the caliber of Green Bay. So they were able to get away with their shenanigans. It's not that different than what we did in week 1. We didn't play well in week 1, but we played the Giants, so we got away with it. And you're seeing teams that aren't playing great football necessarily, but they're allowed to get away with it because they're not playing against great competition. Most of the league stinks right now. Let's be honest. That's why we're still a top 10 team after such a ugly loss. But it was one of the best teams in the league. It's like I equate it to college football. We went into the game ranked 7th in the nation, and the Packers were probably ranked 2nd or 3rd. You lost respectably on the scoreboard, to the third-ranked team in the nation by 9 points. You're not going to fall off the face of the college football landscape. You're not all of a sudden going to be ranked 24th in the nation. You lost to the third team in the nation, and you didn't lose by much. You're still the 10th or 11th best team in the nation if that happens, depending on what happens around you. If the 8th and the 9th and the 10th team in the nation all lose, you're probably going to still be 8th or 9th in the nation, depending on what the 12th and the 13th team, et cetera, did, who they beat the week prior. All I'm saying to you is we didn't fall off the map. All the things that you felt about this team going into the season, yeah, we got some injuries. Those shits suck. I'm going to be honest with you. You know, Eck being out, Dietrich Wise after seeing what he did in week 1, it sucks. Those guys being done for the season. John Bates being hurt, that sucks. Jaden being banged up, absolutely sucks. But we don't know the status of Jaden Daniels. More likely than not, Noah Brown and John Bates are going to be out for at least a week or two. We'll survive. We'll survive. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. My confidence index hasn't wavered at all. I'm still extremely confident in this team's ability. Because again, I chalked up Thursday night's performance to Thursday night behavior. Whether right or wrong. Whether that's me just coping or what. I'm just telling you, in watching this team for over 20 games, I've got an over 20 game sample size with this group. As do you, okay? Over 20 games they've played. 17 in the regular season last year, another 3 in the postseason, and now 2 more games. We've got over 20 games of sample size here. Only 2 games have looked like that shit we watched on Thursday, and they both came on Thursday. That's it. You haven't seen us look that bad offensively. We've played bad in some games. We played bad in the Dallas game, the first one. We weren't great in the New Orleans game. We left a lot of food on the table, a lot of meat on the bone against New Orleans. They could have gotten blown out, should have gotten blown out. We didn't play horribly in that game. We just didn't execute, right? Totally different set of circumstances. The 2 games where we looked ill-prepared, disheveled, and outmatched were the 2 Thursday night games. Now, they were against 2 really good opponents, and they were both on the road, but that's no excuse. That's the sample size. Those 2 games. In the other 20, we looked like a competent NFL outfit. Whether we didn't execute or not, we turned the ball over or whatever, we still looked like a competent NFL outfit. That's where my head is. That's a one-off on a Thursday night. Now let's get back to business. What says you? Leave it down in the comment section. Where's your confidence level in this team heading into week 3? You watch the Raiders. I'm not here to shit on the Raiders because we're coming off of a pretty poor outing as well. And now we have injury concerns. So I can't turn my nose up at the Raiders, but if we are who we say we are, no matter who's at quarterback on Sunday, those boys can't come into our building and leave with a Dubsky. That just can't happen. You know what I mean? We'll talk more about that tomorrow when we take our first look at the Raiders. In the meantime, I want to know where you are. Where do you have us ranked right now in the league? Are we still a top 10 team? Are we just outside the top 10? Where's your confidence level? Where was your confidence before the season started? And has it been shaken 2 weeks in going into week 3? I want to hear from you. Leave it down in the comment section. Anyway, it's going to do it for me, your man Louie T, here on this installment of Commanders Nightly News. I look forward to chopping it up with you guys later on tonight, hopefully with the Kings. We're going to have a lot of discussion tomorrow as we'll hear from DQ. What's going to be interesting, who is at the podium when a quarterback is made available? Is it Marcus Mariota or is it Jaden Daniels? I don't know if that necessarily gives us our answer, but it will tell us a lot. It will tell us a lot. So will we even get a quarterback tomorrow at the podium? feel like we're going to get somebody. So a lot of questions might get answered tomorrow. I think you're going to still get the day-to-day from Jaden in terms of what they're saying. Like, you're not going to get much out of DQ, which I love, by the way. So I still think he's got a shot to play. I know everybody wants him to sit out, this, that, and the third. If I've already said what I said, if he can go and they feel like he can go, turn him loose. If you feel like you can give him a week and he needs a week, give him a week. And if he needs 2 weeks, give him 2 weeks. However long you need to give him to get him right, do that. But if he can go, we'll see you Sunday. So anyway, we'll find out a lot more tomorrow. But in the meantime, leave it down in the comment section. I'm your man, Louie T, signing off. You guys have a good one. Take care. Peace.
Here comes the diesel. Here comes the diesel. There's the snap, and to Riggins. Good hole. He's got the first down to the 40. He's got